So let me see if I can get some graphics up here. Well, no, we're going to do it this way. Let me start off with a little disclaimer. Hey, listen, I have nothing against Anthony Joshua as a fighter. I have seen all of Anthony Joshua's fights, his fight footage, his sparring footage, any type of footage that's available on the internet. I've seen it more than once. I covered live here on YouTube, meaning I do my videos moments after each fight goes off. I covered what is he? 17 0, right? No, he's 18 and up. I covered 16 of those fights live, meaning moments after they went off on here on YouTube. So I'm familiar with Anthony Joshua. I want to see him go 12 rounds. We only seen him go to 7. In this case, I am going with Wladimir Klitschko because of high ring IQ. We've seen Wladimir Klitschko's high ring IQ against better opponents than Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua talks a high ring IQ, but we have yet to really see it because he's just levels above skill-wise and power-wise over his opponents. He's going to have to match mental wits with Wladimir Klitschko. We're going to talk about that later in the video. The show's called The Gloves Are Off. If you don't know, a lot of American fans don't know because it's not televised here in the United States, and it should be. But at the same time, it belongs to Sky Sports. Some network would have to pay rights to Sky Sports to be able to show it over here to the fans. But basically, you know how HBO face off with Max Kellerman? You got Max Kellerman in the middle. You got the silver table, the silver chairs. You got, in this case, the next one is going to be Canelo versus Chavez. That's going to be on April the 24th or the 29th, I believe it's the 29th. You got the two fighters, and basically Max Kellerman is the moderator, the mediator, and he's, answering the fighters' questions. Sometimes the fighters are polite. Sometimes, the fighters are disrespecting each other. Sometimes the fighters come to blows. But now we're seeing that HBO, with its budget cuts, are not doing as many of them as they used to, but they still do them for pay-per-view fights. But we're seeing a higher frequency of them with Sky Sports over there in the UK. So basically, in this case, you have Wladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua. Now, of course, we know that these guys are going to be super polite to each other. So therefore, this is another situation where even though a lot of fans may say, oh, it was boring, they didn't talk about anything, but the intensity in that room of listening to both of these fighters, one, the prospect who literally hasn't really fought anybody, 18-0 with 18 KOs, going up against a veteran who's been holding it down for over a decade, and he knows it's very smart, and they worked and sparred together. Wladimir Klitschko ain't no joke. I don't know why people are just writing him off. And I understand that people may not like him. They may say, oh, he's boring, and he's going to hug you to death and all that. Well, guess what? That's the reason why I feel Anthony Joshua may lose the fight. Wladimir Klitschko knows that, all right, I got this young whippersnapper ahead of me right here. Let me see if I can hold him. Let me see if I can hit him, then hold him. Make the fight as ugly and nasty as can be. Anthony Joshua said he's going for the knockout, but both of these fighters, during the gloves are off, now, like I said, you can expect they were both being polite, but at the same time, they were being very analytical as well, especially if you were following, like, how deep the shit was that they were saying, they both know that there's a chance they can lose, but they say, I'm not even thinking about it. Wladimir Klitschko hasn't addressed anything about retirement. He won't even let you ask him the question of, well, are you going to retire or not? Also, when is the last time now, despite Wladimir Klitschko's age, when has Anthony Joshua fought anyone as athletic as Wladimir Klitschko, who is accustomed to going 12 rounds? Let's go through it. Let's go through his resume. Now I'm not like I said, I know I gotta say this because I know it's gonna be some wanks out there over in the UK, some daft cunts that's going to come on here and say, oh, you're hating on him. No, I'm just giving, is my argument not sound? Is it not logical? Is it not logical? You know what I'm saying? So look at Eric Molina, which was his last fight. Look at Dominic Breazeale. Look at Charles Martin. Look at Gary Cornish, Kevin Johnson, Raphael Love, Jason Gavern, Michael Sprott, Dennis Baktov, Kirsten Urich, Max Skelton, Matt Legg, Hector Avila, Darian Darch, and Paul Butlin, Emmanuel Leo. The best opponent that he's fought has been Dylan White. And ask yourself this: can Wladimir Klitschko beat Dylan White? So many different ways you can look at it. So Anthony Joshua is somewhat, now correct me if I'm wrong, they somewhat fight similar a little bit, him and Wladimir Klitschko, right? Outside of the fact that Wladimir Klitschko don't care how he wins. He will get very intimate with you. Wladimir Klitschko will hug you. He will, listen, he will give you some more intimate ass hugs. And then he'll hug you, and then what he do is he weigh down on you. Like, so, he very high ring IQ, man. Very high ring IQ. Another thing you got to factor in is who's going to be able to take whose punches. We've seen Wladimir Klitschko get stopped. We've seen him get cracked. We've seen Anthony Joshua get cracked by Dylan White. But guess what? One thing about, listen, Wladimir Klitschko is the reason why I'm laughing is because I've been hearing so much crazy shit about Anthony Joshua is going to spark him out and get him out of there and all kind of. Wladimir Klitschko is a very smart fighter, yo. And he's very, very accurate. His name is Dr. Steelhammer. He's going to crack the shit out of Anthony Joshua. They're going to crack each other at least once. So whose will is going to break? The fight is on April the 29th. I feel bad for Carl Froch, man. He seems to be taking it well. I did see the Carl Froch, commercial where he's spoofing himself. He fought in front of 80,000, even though it was really like 78,000 at Wembley. And then now you got Wladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua, 90,000 at Wembley. Deontay Wilder is supposed to be there. That's a whole different video within itself. Because that's a deep situation, and Wilder needs to fight the winner, because if he don't fight the winner, then he's got to fight the main Vern again. So they got to get negotiations with that. It's a deep. The heavyweight division is looking pretty good. For those who've been wondering about Shannon Briggs is fighting on June the 3rd in Florida against Fresno Quindo for that WBA World Regular title. He's getting his shot. He's about to be world champion again. If Quindo don't fuck shit up for him. So to get back to the gloves are off. Hey, listen, I'm feeling the gloves are off, yo. When you look at the fact that they gave us Hay versus Bellew, gloves are off. That shit was lit. We had White versus Chisora. Gloves are off, and Chisora bit Dylan White like right here under the fleshy part of the tit. Remember the push and pull with Carl Froch and George Groves? George Groves, don't get me started on him. I can't. HBO face-off is kind of losing, man. Max Kellerman got to start some fires in there. I want to see Canelo versus Chavez face-off. Did you notice, no disrespect, did you notice Johnny Nelson clothes getting tighter? Each gloves are off, his clothes get tighter and tighter. That shit is heated in there. He's going to be wearing a full bodysuit soon. He's going to be wearing a full bodysuit, soon. Skin tight. But yeah, I already said it. I'm going with Wladimir Klitschko, yo. I just think he's going to pull it through. And then the winner goes on to fight Deontay Wilder in Vegas. Might be on free TV. Could be on Showtime pay-per-view. Or HBO pay-per-view. Ooh. Would you pay for that? Would you pay for Wilder versus Klitschko on American pay-per-view? I would. Would you pay for Wilder versus Joshua on American pay-per-view? I would. And also, remember, it's time for Anthony Joshua to make his USA debut. And he is shying with Showtime. For those who don't know, the fight is going to be on HBO, tape delayed. It's not going to come on until that night, like 10 p.m. or so if you're in the East. For Showtime, it's going to be live, at 5:30 because Anthony Joshua signed to Showtime. One of the main reasons, if not the sole reason he signed to Showtime is, for him to fight Deontay Wilder and one of them be the head of Showtime heavyweight boxing. So that could be happening in Vegas this summer. If Wladimir Klitschko wins, Wladimir Klitschko's back at the King of the Hill again. And remember, they have the IBF and that WBA Super World, so it's a unification. I don't know how they pull that off. You know, have them fight for a vacant Super World Championship, but then you have the regular World Championship being 4-4. This the goddamn WBA. Damn WBA. You know? Anyway, I'm Tissue Controversy. This is Tissue Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. We wanted to go to the fight, but, you know, we just wasn't established enough yet, I guess, if that makes sense. I'll explain it, you know, when I do a live stream after the fight. Please subscribe.